This is a video about the war on drugs. Where to start? Now, if you know how drugs affect the brain, you know that addiction is what seems to be what people go after. Like, oh, you get addicted. You know, you do some weed, you're gonna want to do coke. You do some coke, you want to do heroin. You do some heroin, you want to do crack because you can't afford heroin anymore. That's not how it works. Addiction in general works because you feel like you are lacking something, and then something comes and fills it. There are plenty of people that have done heavily addicted drugs and they didn't get addicted because they don't have the receptors in their brain that makes them susceptible to that addiction. You can get addicted to so many things. There's people walking around 300, 400 pounds. You think that's because they want to be 300, 400 pounds? No, they're addicted because they lack something and something else came and filled it. And in a way, food can also be a drug. Example. Okay, so there's a war on drugs. It's like if you somehow keep attacking the victims, they'll somehow come around and they'll be like, oh, I'll never do it again. It's not how it works with addiction. When you're addicted to something, you gotta have it. It's gotta be there. If you don't get it, you don't feel yourself. So you're gonna get it wherever you can get it. Locking them up and finding them doesn't do shit. There's a special class of people, and the people that aren't addicted, they will respond positively to that kind of action, but they're one part of the problem. So, in the end of the day, the war on drugs it's a never-ending battle. It's never gonna work. It's never gonna win. Unless you try to help the people that are dealing with addiction. What caused that addiction, and you will find every single time that they have some kind of childhood trauma and they're trying to fill some kind of gaping hole with these drugs. Like me, I've had quite a few drugs over the years. I'm not gonna say which ones or whatever, but I've never been addicted to one or the other, and that's because I in my case particular, I never went through any kind of super traumatic trauma, and any trauma I've worked towards trying to heal those wounds. So, and another thing is when someone is addicted to drugs, people look down on them like they're such a weak person, and yeah, they kind of are, but you ain't lived their life, you ain't walked a mile in their shoes, so you can't really judge them, and you shouldn't judge them. You should try to help them, and by help them, I don't mean enable them, because that's another problem. Is I've known people that they have trouble keeping a job, this and that, and people enable them by giving them a place to stay and and them doing the same thing over again. That's not helping them. Like, address the issue. Like, what's wrong with you? Why are you doing this? Try to have a real talk with them or something. But if you just keep giving them things, they're just gonna keep doing what they're doing. You keep giving them money, they're gonna keep spending it on the drugs. You keep giving them a place to stay, they're gonna keep staying there. And at the end of the day, if there is something that I learned, that is, you can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped. No matter how hard you try, unless they want your help is not going anywhere. And anyone that does want help, anything in their life is a tool, and they use that tool. Because if you really, really want something, you're gonna walk towards it. If your legs don't work, you're gonna crawl towards it. If your arms don't work, you're gonna fucking flail towards it. That's just how it works. And you have to want something bad enough before you can actually move towards it. And there's a lot of people out there that are really weak, and they will prey on you wanting to help them. They will prey on that shit, and you have to have the clear vision to be able to see the people that do want help. They want to use you as a tool to help them. And use it, I mean, in a good way, not in a bad way. And the people that don't want help, they want to use you to keep doing what they're doing. Like, there's that overwhelming feeling that you should have this high sense of compassion. You should just, and I think you should have that compassion for people, but you have that knowledge to know when someone's just going to try to take advantage of that. And to really, really help them, you have to be able to recognize that. So the war on drugs is a war on addiction, and to heal addiction, you don't terrorize people and push them in a corner. You literally lend out your hand and say, take it if you want. If you don't want, that's fine. And those people that are so weak that they succumb to their addiction and ends up hurting them really bad, or their family, or killing them, you have to understand that it's not your place to be able to save the world. Like, you can only do what you can, and sometimes you just can't help people, and you have to let it go. And that's that that Taoist philosophy that, like, sometimes you just gotta let it go. You can't beat yourself up over it. It's not in your hands. You did what you could, and that's all you can do. And you feel proud. I mean, even if you try to help some crackhead that ends up, overdosing one day, and you tried to help them, but it didn't work out. You feel proud that you tried to help them, that you went through that work. Like, you can't. If you beat yourself up over it, you are literally in this same kind of place that he is. Like, you gotta know that, I did what I could. He wasn't ready. Hopefully next lifetime he's ready.